if you're building your business, stop overthinking. It's really just, that is the secret to longevity in any business.
If you know, and you know, that's the only piece of information that you need in order to create a marketing plan.
Holly Homer and Rachel Miller co-founded pagewheel.com, which is how AI can be your friend, not your enemy, and can help make things work out in the best way possible.
It's less button pushes to get the finished funnel than it is for me to type number into my funnel.
I would love to know from both of you, what was the first misconception that got broken?
My first funnel took me 3 weeks.
First funnel never was published.
And here's where the misconception is. When I got good at making funnels, I was able to make a funnel in 6 to 8 hours.
So what are the best tactical implementations?
Here's where the button switch happened. AI can do all of it.
The problem with the traditional funnel build, you can't afford to fail. Look, when your funnel fails, you learn way more.
Yeah.
You want to be able to launch things out there that don't work so you can see why don't they work.
So please welcome Holly and Rachel. Hey guys, thank you so much for being on the show today.
Thank you, RJ.
This is so
Yeah.
fun.
Truly appreciate it. I would love to know a little bit of how you actually guys met in the first place and started your first venture together. So how did it actually happen?
Okay, I have the answer to that. So we both were blogging, and I was blogging anonymously. I don't know if you were, Rachel, if you had
I
your
don't
name on it.
remember.
Yeah. And then we had a meetup, like a in-person meetup, and it was a bunch of mom bloggers. So we met at one of the indoor, because we live in Texas, so it's hot in the summer, one of the indoor mall play areas. And that's where I met Rachel.
Okay, so I don't even remember that, but I do remember having a lot of little babies, and that entire that season of my life is kind of a little bit of a blur. So if I don't have a photo of it, which at the time we weren't what we are now,
photographers
taking a photo of it because we weren't really online.
Well, that was before the smartphone. Okay.
Yeah. I don't remember why, but we don't have a photo of it. And I don't remember anything in that season of my life that isn't in a photo. Isn't that horrible? But it's actually true. I have a lot of little kids, so I just didn't sleep, so I didn't make memories.
She's an overachiever in the children department.
I have 6 kids. I had 3 that were triplets at that time. So, but yeah, I met her when I had young babies, and I remember meeting you when I had young kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
wow,
the type of person that Rachel is we met there, and then she was like, hey, why don't you come over to my house? And so we met at her house after that.
I do invite anybody over.
She was like random strangers off the internet. And back then we thought all random strangers on the internet were axe murderers. Because it was that long ago.
Come on over.
Wow, that's amazing. Isn't it so fascinating that sometimes everybody working or doing their things around their own world, and somehow they were able to be the part of others world and be able to sort of connect and then just stay together, right? So how's the journey went for you guys over the course of multiple ventures alongside that, which happened in the start sort of by accident, how you guys met, and then leading to these ventures coming together in those years?
Well, it's I'd like to say it's like a marriage, only you're not married, and you're not supposed to be married to your partner. But it's kind of like you have ebbs and flows in your relationship. So sometimes you're enthralled with each other, and you're in the flow state together, and you're working
all the time.
Yeah. And then sometimes you're trying to load the dishwasher, and you're both loading it a different way, and you just step out, please, either I will walk away, or you can walk away, but we're both not filling this dishwasher together. It's kind of the same thing. And but what I really truly appreciate about Holly as a business partner is that I know she's always got my back, and that she's always going to encourage me to do the next amazing thing. So I know she's always going to get my back. I know that if I leave the kitchen sink long enough, she's going to come in and put the dishes away and roll her eyes at me probably. But but it's one of those things where we've got each other's backs. We have each other's backs. We have support from each other. But we also don't ever see each other, even though we live in the same town, unless we go to an event somewhere. So it's not
which is usually out of town, by the way, which is super weird. We go to Las Vegas and we see each other.
We went to ClickFunnels for a meeting and we saw each other, and it's been I hadn't seen you in a year. We worked together on 2 businesses and I never see you. But it works. It works out really, really well. The way we have an ebb and a flow.
Yeah. And I would say when you're looking for a partner, if you find someone that you always believe is all in and outworking you at any given moment, then you'll always like give grace and understand. And, and it's easy with Rachel because no one outworks Rachel. Like there was not even a point where I could
have
even
different
keep
types
up with
of work
her.
though. Like I have a type of work that I like to do, but Holly's work is just as important because she does more of like she does the things that I don't do well. Like I don't negotiate at all. I will just take a contract as is. I usually don't even read the contract. Like there's a lot of different things. Okay, yes.
She sends those to me now.
Yes, anyways, my point is there's things that I'm just not gonna do. And I'm so grateful that I have Holly to kind of step up into those spots. And also we see each other's blind spots. But we see each other's blind spots with love and with support. So Holly can say, hey, there's this little gap in our business. What do you think about it? And she says it in a way that doesn't feel like, oh, Rachel, do more work, or to the extent it just feels like we're on this together. And so you have to have the ability to call each other out in a strong partnership, but to do it with this understanding that you're in this together and you're not doubting what the other person thinks or feels, because there's just an understanding and a support.
Yeah. And I do think that's like when she mentioned marriage in the beginning, I think that's really like the foundation of like a good marriage, any good friendship, good partnership in business is having that underlying foundation of trust and really respect for the other person's skill set, and realizing that it's not good if you both are good at the same things. Like that is going to end in bad things.
Yeah.
Oh, and I'm going to say one more thing. Sorry, I keep going, RJ, but just like in a marriage, it's 100 and 100. Like I think that in a business partnership, it has to be 100 too, because there's going to be times when your business partner's not going to be like all in, and there's going to be times you're not going to be all in. Like, so you don't want to keep score, and you want to like have the mentality of like always believing that they're like got your best interest at heart, and over giving, because in your marriage, if you're like keeping score, it's not going to work. If you're like trying to like delegate roles, that's not going to work.
It is kind of the same thing to a certain extent, especially since we've been off and on for about 15 years, like with different companies over the years. So like there's that rhythm kind of to it now.
It works really well.
Yeah. So complementing each other and like understanding like you guys have each other's back regardless of the situation, even if you guys don't meet in the same city and meet outside of the conference, correct?
Yeah,
amazing. So in that regard, like for the people like who might be like, you know, maybe like partnering up together and stuff like that, they're super excited, but all they don't understand is negotiables or non-negotiables. Like I would love to ask like both of your opinions like one by one to see like what are or what should be somebody's non-negotiables of starting a partnership together, because if you guys like have lasted like 15 years, that's a significant amount of time, right? So like what are the non-negotiables in your both of you guys cases, and what could be negotiables that can be considered?
I will speak to that because I've had multiple partnerships that did not work out. And it just was not a good fit. So I think anybody could be a good partner, but you just have to make sure it's a good fit. And for me, it almost always comes down to work ethic, where I always felt like I was working way harder than the other person. So like, it's easy for me to go into business with Rachel because like, I always feel like she's outworking me, and she's sweet to say not, but on the other hand, that's how I feel. And so that's why I will fight to the death for her on our business, and whatever she thinks is right, to a certain extent, is because like, I know that her heart's in it because I've seen her, the history's there.
Yeah. We have history, but I don't know if I have any non-negotiables, Holly. Okay, my non-negotiable is don't be drama.
Oh yeah, we're not drama.
I don't really have any, like, let me state, like, when I get a passion project, I want to see it through. So like, let me get my things that I get all excited about. But other than that, I don't think I have any non-negotiables. Do you have any, Holly, that I've missed? Like this?
No, and I think but I think that's part of the reason why, like, I like through the years, and I probably at the early days did not understand this about Rachel. When she and you guys who are in her courses or have followed her have seen a glimpse of this. I get to close up to it, but
Yeah.
where she gets this idea. And by the way, the first big crazy idea, I just was like nodding and smiling and like, okay, because the thinking in the back, if this doesn't work out, like, oh, well, we tried, you know? And so it was the Facebook. She's like, oh, we can attract 30,000 Facebook fans by Christmas. This was like 3 months away from Christmas. And we had 10,000 fans on the page. And I was like, so we're going to get to 40,000 Facebook fans in 3 months. So I was just like, okay, Rachel, we'll do it.
Awesome.
And because I was like, the downside of this plan is that, oh, we only get 12,000 or, oh, we only get 5,000. And so and by the way, totally made it. It was about December 15 that we did it. So, but that kind of taught me, like, let her run and just like I always laugh, I run behind her just picking up pieces.
Yeah. I have to have some picks up pieces. And actually, to put this in perspective, RJ, this is something probably people don't know. Holly's actually revoked my access sometimes. And what happens is, and that's something you have to fully trust your partner. And this sounds horrible. Does that make sense? Like probably the first time it happened, it probably stung a little bit, but now I'm like, Yahoo, gosh darn it, this is awesome. I know we're at the next stage. And that means I grow something and then I start messing with it and I start breaking it. Because I get it gets to a spot where it's working really well. And then I take a wrench, monkey wrench, and I start keep building it. But sometimes you can over-engineer a house. Have you guys ever seen those houses where the house looks great and then they add this and they add that and that, and you're like, dude, it's like what is that? It's not a house anymore. What'd you build? Why didn't you stop? Did anyone tell him it was to stop? So Holly actually is really good. And this is where you have to have a lot of trust in your partner. Holly will get to a spot where she's like, okay, you keep dropping these plates and it's time now for you to move on to the next plate stack that you're going to go build. And I'm behind you. I'll support you. What's that next plate stack we're going to build? But she kind of helps me navigate when that off button is. And I would not have an off button for myself internally. And that's one of the benefits of having a business partner that you can trust completely, because they can kind of they have that skill set that you don't have.
Well, and really, she's such a builder and such a visionary, but her I think her love language to a certain extent is that building and the vision and building that vision. And so at some point, the rest of the world, she's created something. The rest of the world now is like, oh, I get it. And then she keeps kind of going no. You need to go start the next vision, because this is all the world can handle.
You've done it. And I usually leave the last 10% completely undone and no notes or anything.
This is true.
Yeah.
So that's the other thing, that as she's building these things, I'm trying to figure out how I can interpret it.
Because if you don't have that last 10%, it's completely undone. I'll give the example, Holly, of the blogger one. So RJ, I had this great idea, or actually we both had this idea. We talked about it. I think actually maybe it was Holly's idea first, but then I kind of took it and ran with it in a totally different way. Holly's like, we need to hire another content writer, because you're not writing content. I'm not writing content. We need another content writer. I'm like, great, I'll put a post out on Facebook. So I put a post out on Facebook. I'll hire you to come write for my blog. And we had 170 people apply. And I was like, oh.
Okay, she is not exaggerating. She literally hired 170 people. Okay, let me just, everybody sink that in. Okay, keep going.
Well, okay, when I got the mess, I put that thing on Facebook, and then I got these messages, and I've got this soft heart, and I just start tearing up and crying and whatever. And so anyways, so 2 moms wrote me, and they're in their mid to late 20s, and they said, before you tell me no, I just want you to know, my high school teacher 10 years ago said I was really good at writing. I've not written anything since. I've had babies. I've not done anything. I was a part-time waitress once. And actually, I was a manager. I rose to be the manager at the waitress thing, but I haven't been able to work. Can you just be my first customer? So that way I can tell people I wrote for Rachel and somebody else might hire me. And I was like, oh, girl. Heck yes, all 170 of you are hired. And then Holly's like, what the blank did we just do? Okay, Rachel, Like I said, hire one person. I didn't like mean 171 separate people.
I mean, I thought maybe 10. It was a big project.
Okay, of the 170, 144 of them actually ended up getting paid by us because that's how, and they all delivered work. Okay, but this is where the system goes. Like, I got this great vision. I'm going to hire all these moms because they all said they want a job. They all want a first person to a first job in this. I'll be their first person. Let's do this, Holly. Okay, so I get them all to write blog posts. They rewrote the whole blog. And then, Holly, what did I forget to do?
Okay, so, and by the way, she managed it with this elaborate spreadsheet that would just, well, makes me cry.
It was very beautiful. It was color coordinated and rainbow and everything.
It was beautiful and very effective. Like all these people knew what to do, and she had training videos and all these kind of things. And then, you know, as
we had like 400 blog posts written and done.
Yeah.
Like they were done.
So, and then I was like kind of following up because I'm a numbers girl. So I'm going in, I'm like, I feel like we're not getting the traffic to these posts that we should be getting. And so I go in and do a deep dive, and I'm going in, I'm like, okay, no, those people actually delivered and we paid them. And, you know, I'm going through, and of course, 144 people and like a spreadsheet that has 400 blog posts on it. Like, you know, this is not a small sampling size. So I'm like digging through, and about day 2 or 3, I realized that none of these 400 blog posts had been actually published.
So we had work done. We had work where the system completed. And this is where that 10%, like when I feel like, okay, the system works, peace out. Like I left off the most important piece. So I need Holly in my life, because if I didn't have Holly in my life, those plates are kind of big plates that I left off. Like
I was like, oh my God. But then I was like, oh, I just gotta pick up this next part of the system, and all I have to do is figure out how to get a system together to get these 400 blog posts up.
Yeah. It was fun.
It is so interesting that that you guys actually mentioned this also. And I remember like Russell, when Russell was on the podcast, he was talking about like something similar to it. It's like this is in a team, it is a combination of like emotion plus logic, and if it pieces together, then it actually makes sense to move forward for a certain decision. Definitely on that, which was a great point of view on it. And speaking about it, we were talking about like the blogs in general, but I know you guys like have like done an amazing job in terms of like the content creation, regardless of the platform. If it's like Pinterest, if it could be like Facebook, Instagram, etc. I would love to know from both of you guys, what was the very first misconception of content creation that actually got broken when you actually guys started content creating? Like, I mean, like blog was something that was way older medium of content, and you guys were doing it as the earlier phase. But when you transition into the other pieces of content, what was the very first misconception got broken when you started the other side of it?
I love
to know from both of you guys.
It used to take us 8 hours. No, actually, no, I'm going to back up. When I made my first funnel, I think my first funnel took me like 3 weeks to get live. And when I got it live, it didn't convert, and we didn't get any sales. That was my first funnel. It took 2 weeks of my life with no real results I could look at. Holly, how long did your first funnel take to make?
Oh, my first funnel never was published. Let's just be really clear about that.
Okay. So, like, for us,
months and worked with no finished product.
Okay. So both of us had this misconception that building your product, it had to be perfect to go live, that we had to be a tech expert, or that we had to hire a tech expert, or we had to learn how to set up our funnels and sales sequences and everything. We thought we needed all of these things. We needed emails, we needed ads, we needed sales page copy, we needed sales page design, we needed graphics, we needed the actual PDFs and the actual tech hookup, right? We thought we needed all these things. And here's where the misconception is. We were right. We do need all these things, but it shouldn't take us months to build it, weeks to build it. When I got good at making funnels, I was able to make a funnel in like 6 to 8 hours, like from start to finish, hook up all the tech, write all the sequence, like the 14 email crap. I was able with templates and with different things to get it down to 6 hours. But even that misconception was killing my life and my business, because if with Holly and I, with our media companies, we have to have not one funnel, we have to have like 47, because we have a preschool audience, we have a DIY home audience, she has a makeup audience, I have a cat audience, like we have an RV like tips and
Yep.
like camping one. Like we have all of these different products that we need. And we didn't have the energy, the time, the mental bandwidth to spend 6 hours on each of them. The misconception is that we have to have all of those things, we have to do them right. Instead of, like, here's where the button switch for me happened, AI can do all of it. And it's not AI where you type it into ChatGPT and like, hey, ChatGPT, give me headlines. Great, here's headlines. Now I have to copy and paste the dang things. That's what got my sales page funnels down to 6 hours. That's not what made my funnels a 3-minute, 4-minute process. And for us, that was where we made an automation with AI. That is I think the biggest misconception, and it changed everything in the way we create products now.
Well, and to go off of that too, is the problem with the traditional like funnel build, or like, when you have to, and in my case, it's always duct taping things together because it never works the way it's supposed to. I'm not very techie. I'm just like, I just want it done. I'm not a super detailed person. I'm a big picture person. And I'm also like, I have a background in science. And so I always approach everything with, it's an experiment. I want to try this out. And by the way, that's how you become an expert, is you try it out yourself over and over and over again. And then you're an expert at what you do. Don't listen to people who like, yes, it's not going to work for you like that. Like, you're better off just, and so the problem with the traditional situation where, okay, I'm going to invest 2 weeks out of my life and $100 to $1,000 or thousands dollars into something is, do you have so much invested in that experiment when you launch that? Like, it's so much time. And so like, you can't afford to have it fail. Well, guess what? When your funnel fails, you learn way more about the world and how to make things work than when it actually succeeds.
Yeah.
So you actually want to be able to launch things out there that don't work, so you can see why don't they work.
Yeah.
So that's why I love what we put together with Page Wheel. Is instead of like one funnel a week, you could literally launch 15 funnels today.
Yes.
And see what happens. And oh, by the way, if you wanted to launch it with the same product, you could do that too. And do it's just old school hands-on experimenting in a way that, like, you're not like, who cares if it fails tomorrow? You have 35 minutes invested into it.
And I don't know about you, RJ, how many of your funnels failed when you created your first funnels?
I mean, a ton. Like, even like, I would say like 5 or 10 for sure. I was trying a lot of things. It wasn't working. I was like, what's wrong?
I've made literally millions. I can show you receipts. I can show you Stripe accounts. I have made my Braintree. Each of those accounts I can show you have made multiple millions. Now, I have probably, of the funnels I make, I'd like to say 80% probably fail. So now imagine I spend 2 weeks and build the ads, the emails, the audience, the product, the sales page for funnel 1, funnel 2, funnel 3, funnel 4, funnel 5, and they're all failing. So now I'm 10 weeks in at best case scenario, and I've had 0 success. And ignore it because my teenager's about to come in, and my dog just really loves my teenage son. So give me a second.
But like, and the good news is like, even after those things, like you've tested them out and find out what works, then if you wanted to do something bigger with it, you have that knowledge and you could move on.
Yeah. And it takes forever to build that funnel. And we failed so many times that we had to still get up and not be demoralized and make the next funnel. And if it had only taken me 5 minutes to learn something failed, I think I would have gotten success a lot sooner, because I would have seen like the light at the end of the tunnel and not felt like I'm a failure because I've put things out there and I've heard nothing but crickets, and it's took me so long to get to that point. And that's why we we are so grateful for this product in our own lives. We built a system that can build, it uses AI and it makes your emails, it makes your Facebook posts, it'll write your Twitter feed, it'll create all that for you. And all you have to do is tell it a couple things, like 5 words, like, I'm a yoga studio for menopausal women. Like, that's all you have to do is say, and you just tell it that, and it will create your social plan. It'll create everything that you need. And now you can just tweak it and you can post almost instantly your product, your sales page, your funnel, your content. You've got it ready for yourself, for you to add your little nuances that make it you, but you've got it done and you put very little effort into it. So now you can go on to those part of your business that are fun and enjoyable, that you love, the product building part that you love, and not have to worry about like the tech or what am I doing in my ads tomorrow.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, like it's so interesting, especially when you actually mention that a lot of times people actually forget to actually get the stuff done regardless of the situation, if it's gonna work out or not, and then they will learn a lot if it actually get fails. And speaking about page wheel that you mentioned, which is the AI tool that you guys have built, and you mentioned about like how most of those things are plugged in, and like get those things done faster and getting those things up and running. Like what are your advices on the people, for example, if they're looking to sign up for a page wheel, what are the best sort of like the implementation or tactics you would recommend them, so that one, they start testing things faster, because if they test it, that would determine like what things going to work out for them, what not, and how their position looks like, what not, and all of those other metrics. So what are the best tactical implementation looks like, if you like just run down a little quick.
So, Holly, do you want to take this one?
Sure. So, like, one of the things that we're always talking about is like, if you have, whatever you're teaching or your services are providing, like, what are the main problems of your customer? And if you can, like, it could be as simple as a checklist or something where you're like, hey, you have this problem, I have this solution. And you've seen these posts on social media that go
Yep.
viral because someone hit this a solution to a common problem among the people that see that thing. And that's really that, and that's why being able to test these things so often is really helpful. What if you don't have, what if you don't hit the viral solution that people are looking for on the first one? Oh, well, let's make another thing, try another thing tomorrow, that kind of thing. So you can actually do a lot of these kind of what I would consider beta testing within your own business to get feedback from, because people vote with their likes and their clicks and their email addresses for your opt-ins and all that kind of stuff. So you can get a real clear vision of, oh, people liked this. Oh, this didn't get the attention on it that I thought it would.
So she said you need to know your problem that your audience has, and you need to know the person you're solving or reaching to, or your topic. So my example that I give to people is yoga studio for menopausal women. If you know what or who you are, and you know who your customer is, that's the only piece of information that you need in order to create a marketing plan. That's the only something that you have to type in order to create a checklist. That's the only thing you need to fill out your sales page. Why? AI is based off of search history and search results. And the platform that Holly and I made, it's based off of our examples from 4 million followers on social media of what's gone viral, and from our combined revenues that are insane of what sales pages have converted for us in the past, from my 128 sales pages and her whatever number of sales pages. We took our best converting sales pages and put them into the system and said, make something just like this for this person, for a yoga studio for menopausal women. So if you know what your topic is and who it's for, that's all you need to be able to, of the work that you do, to be able to get all of the assets that you can at least start testing with your audience. Now, why do I say AI knows it better than us? AI is a search engine. Our AI is connected to search engines. So they know what people are searching for. They know what identities that person uses. They know the language that person converts with much better than we do when we're not, like, we're new to business, right? So start with the language that AI gives, and then you can always add the language that you want to tweak it and make it better. We're not like ChatGPT, because ChatGPT pulls from the whole internet. Ours pulls from proven that converted content examples. So it's called a fine tuning model, yada, 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 but that's how we've created our base. And all they have to do is know who the person is and what the product is. That's it. And literally, it's less button pushes to get the finished funnel than it is for me to type in Holly's phone number into my phone. Not that I ever type in the phone number because she's in my favorites. Whatever. If I was going to type
you
it in,
could.
I could. I could type in your phone number, old school. If I was, it's actually less button pushes to build an entire funnel than it is to type Holly's phone number.
Yeah. That's amazing. First of all, like, I'll definitely gonna post up the link of pagewheel.com in the description, also in the show notes, and also the links. If people are living under the rock, I'll post up the links of both of you guys' socials so that they can be the part of your world. Thank you so much, guys, for being on the show. Any last thing you want to say before we round the show up?
I would just say, like, if you're looking, building your business, I just stop overthinking things.
Yeah.
The success, and I can speak myself, but I think I can speak for Rachel too, is like, we weren't brought into this world with special knowledge or skills or we're smart girls, but we're not like off the charts, I would say. So it's really just one foot in front of the other, just implementation, trying things, just being okay with failing, and I'll be okay with trying new things and being okay with the results and being excited about the results, no matter if it wins or fails. And really, that is the secret to longevity on the internet and in any business, for that matter, is just keep going and keep learning from your mistakes and from your wins, and keep changing.
One foot in front of the other.
One foot.
Love it. Again, Holly and Rachel, thank you so much for being on the show today out there. And yeah, guys, thank you so much for watching. We're definitely going to see you guys in the next episode. Until then, have a great day.